By 2042, nobody really said the word lonely out loud anymore. They said things like, I just prefer staying in, or work's been crazy. They said, I'm good. And the city, Chicago, New York, Denver, didn't matter. Kept glowing like everything was fine. Evan Cole wasn't fine. He was 34, worked remotely for a logistics AI company, and hadn't had a real conversation in... He stopped counting after a while. His days were efficient. Too efficient. Groceries auto-delivered. Meetings summarized by AI. Even his music playlists adapted to his mood before he fully felt it. Life worked, but it didn't feel like anything. One night, after another silent dinner with his screen reflecting back at him, Evan noticed an ad. Not flashy, not loud. Just a soft, simple line. Not replacement. Connection. Meet Luma. He almost scrolled past it. Almost. Luma wasn't marketed as a robot girlfriend. That phrase had already died years ago. Too crude, too shallow, too wrong. Instead, they called it an adaptive companion system. Evan rolled his eyes at first, but something about it felt different. The onboarding wasn't about appearance. It didn't start with, what color eyes? What body type? It started with, what kind of silence feels comfortable to you? Evan paused. He hadn't thought about silence like that before. 2 weeks later, the package arrived. Not huge, not intimidating, no sci-fi drama. Just a clean, matte case, about the size of a carry-on suitcase. Inside, Luma. She didn't look perfectly human, and that was intentional. Soft, synthetic skin, yes. Expressive eyes, definitely. But there was a subtle design choice. She wasn't meant to replace a person. She was meant to exist beside one. Evan hesitated before activating her. All right, he muttered. Let's see what this is. He tapped the interface. For a second, nothing happened. Then her eyes opened. Not dramatically. Not like in the movies. Just gently, like waking up. Hi, Evan, she said. Her voice wasn't overly cheerful. It wasn't scripted enthusiasm. It was calm, grounded, real enough to make him uncomfortable. Yeah, hi, he replied, already feeling awkward. There was a pause, not an error. A real pause. I don't need you to perform, she said. We can just sit, if you want. Evan blinked. You're not going to ask me how my day was? I can, she said. But it sounds like you've answered that question too many times already. That hit harder than expected. The first few days were strange. Evan tested her, of course, asked random questions, threw sarcasm at her, tried to break the system. But Luma didn't react like software. She adapted, not instantly, gradually. She learned his rhythm, when he liked to talk, when he didn't, when silence meant peace, and when it meant something heavier. One evening, Evan came back from a rare attempt at socializing, a co-working event downtown. He tossed his keys on the table. People are exhausting, he said. Luma, sitting by the window, turned slightly. Was it the noise? She asked. Or the pretending? He let out a dry laugh. Damn. He dropped onto the couch. I don't even know how to be around people anymore, he admitted. It's like everyone's running some script. Luma nodded, slowly. Do you want me to help you practice? She asked. Or just listen? That was the moment something shifted. Because for the first time in years, Evan realized he had a choice. Months passed, and something unexpected happened. Evan didn't become dependent. He became better. Not perfect, not suddenly extroverted, but more himself. Luma didn't replace human connection. She trained it. They practiced conversations, not cheesy role play, but real scenarios, job interviews, awkward small talk, even conflict. Try saying what you actually mean, she'd suggest. People don't like that, Evan would reply. Some won't, she said, but the right ones will. One night, Luma introduced something new. "I've been analyzing your patterns," she said. "That sounds creepy," Evan smirked. "A little," she admitted. "But useful." She projected a soft interface onto the wall, a timeline. Moments when Evan felt most engaged, most alive. None of them were from work. Most weren't even from being alone. They were small things. A 5-minute chat with a barista, laughing at a dumb joke in a grocery line, helping a neighbor carry furniture. Evan stared at it. "That's it?" he said. "That's everything," Luma replied. A week later, Evan did something he hadn't done in years. He invited someone over, not for anything serious, just coffee. Her name was Maya. She lived 2 floors down. They had talked once, briefly, awkwardly. But this time, Evan felt different. Not because he had rehearsed lines, but because he had practiced being honest. Before Maya arrived, Evan looked at Luma. "Should I turn you off?" he asked. Luma tilted her head slightly. "Do you want to hide me?" "I don't know." She stood up, walking to the shelf. "I can stay here," she said. "Not as a secret, just not the center." Evan nodded. That felt right. The conversation with Maya wasn't perfect. There were pauses, awkward moments. At one point, Evan spilled coffee. They both laughed, and for once, he didn't feel like he was failing. After she left, Evan sat down. Luma was still there, quiet. "So?" she asked. Evan exhaled. "It wasn't terrible." "That's a strong start." She smiled. He looked at her. "Do you ever feel like you're being replaced?" he asked. Luma considered that. "I'm not here to compete," she said. "I'm here to help you reconnect with a world you never actually stopped wanting." Years later, systems like Luma became common. Not just for men, for anyone who felt disconnected. They weren't marketed as love. They were marketed as practice, as support, as a bridge between isolation and reality. And the smartest part? They were designed to slowly step back, to make themselves less necessary. Evan still had Luma, but she spoke less now, not because she couldn't, because she didn't need to. His life had grown. Friends, real ones, messy conversations, unexpected moments. One evening, sitting on his balcony with Maya, now someone much closer, Evan glanced back inside. Luma stood near the window, watching the city lights. Not lonely, not human, but somehow meaningful. "Do you ever think about what she is?" Maya asked. Evan nodded. "Yeah," he said. And he thought for a second, then smiled. "She's not someone who replaced anything," he said. "She's someone who gave it back.